The son of our housekeeper grew up with me. He was handsome. Whenever we stood together at any event, he looked like the young master of the household. In my previous life, at my engagement banquet, he ruined all my formal outfits while he himself wore a perfectly tailored suit and became the center of attention. Everyone said he seemed more like the male lead of the event. My fiancée, Sophia, fell in love with him at first sight, and the two even secretly pledged themselves to each other. When I learned the truth, I forcibly tore them apart, but they pushed me into the sea and I drowned, and my parents were framed and unjustly killed by them. Reborn, I returned to the day the housekeeper's son ruined my clothes. Watching him open the wardrobe and tear my garments, I smiled. Please, I'm a respectable scion of a wealthy family. How dare a servant who eats and works for my household try to contend with me? The first person I saw when I opened my eyes again was the butler, Uncle Wong. Master Ethan, it's bad. The suit you ordered was taken by Lucas. When I ran out the door, I saw Lucas speeding away in my sports car, leaving only a trail of exhaust where I stood. TSK. I should never have let him come with me to get my driver's license. Back at the villa, Uncle Wong said that all the formal clothes in the upstairs cloakroom had been deliberately damaged to varying degrees and were no longer wearable, just like last time. I was wearing casual sportswear, looking at the mess and scattered clothes all over the room, and calmly ordered, "Uncle Wong, call the police." I picked up my phone and dialed my mom. When she answered, I quickly shifted to an anxious tone. "Mom, something's wrong. There's been a break-in at our house. Last time Lucas took my evening gown and ruined all my outfits for formal occasions." Furious, I drove to my engagement party in casual clothes. There was traffic on the way, and when I finally ran into the banquet hall, Lucas, dressed in a handsome suit, had already become the center of attention, with my fiancée Sophia and my sister Olivia gathered around him. I lost my sanity and, like a madman, rushed at Lucas and beat him savagely. The scene spiraled out of control and brought utter shame to my parents. Although I later still married Sophia as I had wanted, I never expected that this marriage would become the tomb that buried me. After the wedding, Sophia used my father's trust to get into the company's upper management and, through illegal channels, colluded with shareholders to run a smuggling operation. When it was exposed, she threw the blame onto my father. After he was imprisoned, my mother was so heartbroken that she became distracted while driving, crashed, suffered severe injuries, and ultimately died in the hospital. My love-struck sister Olivia was also framed by Lucas and Sophia and thrown into prison. In the end, so Sophia could be with Lucas, she took me out to international waters on a yacht and pushed me into the sea. "You aren't even worth one of Lucas's toes. Marrying you was the most disgusting thing I've ever done in my life." The icy seawater covered my head, and the last thing I saw was Lucas and Sophia entwined in each other's arms, passionately kissing. I arrived at the banquet hall together with the police. Pushing open the hall's doors, the scene before me was exactly the same as in my previous life. People crowded around Lucas. He wore my silver-white suit, the expensive fabric accentuating his already remarkable demeanor. Sophia and Olivia bloomed like two companion flowers at his left and right, surrounding Lucas like stars around the moon. The only difference was that in my last life my parents were frantically calling me, while this time, because I had warned them in advance not to act rashly, the two of them sat quietly in their seats, watching everything in the banquet hall with cool detachment. The lead officer stepped up to Lucas and asked, "Are you Lucas?" Seeing the police, Lucas was a bit stunned. "Why, yes, that's me. Someone called the police saying you're suspected of damaging or stealing someone else's property. Please come with us for questioning." Lucas looked at me, his gaze disdainful. "Ethan, we're brothers. Do you hate me that much?" I curled my lip. "What did I do to you? Can you stop throwing dirt on me every chance you get? As if you're the only one who doesn't lie." He turned to the policeman. "Officer, this is a misunderstanding. My brother was joking with you. Between us guys." I quickly cut him off. "What nonsense are you talking about? Who said we're brothers? I wouldn't joke lightly about a burglary at home." I turned to the police officer. My sports car was driven away. The The household staff all say they didn't touch my car, and many of the clothes in my wardrobe have been damaged to varying degrees. I've already arranged for copies of the home surveillance footage to be retrieved. When it's reviewed, it'll be clear who did it. The people around us, after hearing me, looked at Lucas with a curious, telling expression. Lucas frowned tightly. "Ethan, I know your family is wealthy, but that's no reason for you to insult me like that. I may be poor, but I'm still a respectable man of 7 feet. You can't humiliate me like this in public. Does having money give you the right to insult others and trample on their dignity? Don't spout nonsense." I reached out to stop him from continuing. "So what if I have money? I earned it through my parents' hard work. Should I be damned just because I have money?" In this banquet hall, who isn't someone important? Who doesn't have some family backing? By your logic, are we all heartless because we're rich? I didn't give him a chance to speak at all. Even if I were a heartless rich man, it's not your place to play judge, is it? You're wearing my suit right now, and standing so close to my fiancée. What kind of justice is that? I don't care whether you have any pride, but before you say that, could you at least give back the suit of mine you're wearing? I had it tailor-made for today. It isn't for you to wear and swoop in like a sparrow taking another's nest. At my words, everyone's gaze in the room immediately snapped to the tuxedo he was wearing. I said, "Why does he look so awkward in that suit? Turns out he probably stole someone else's. I heard he's the housekeeper's son from the Johnson family. I wondered why I've never seen him before. Does he have any shame? Stealing his employer's clothes and still talking about dignity. What a hypocrite." Lucas listened to the people around him gossiping. His face went pale, then flushed, not sure whether to take it off or keep it on. Just as he was hesitating, Sophia at his side finally spoke. "Enough." Sophia stepped forward and stood in front of Lucas. "Ethan, you're going too far." The look she gave Lucas was indescribably tender. "It's just a piece of clothing. I think Lucas looks much better in it than you do. Why can't you be as magnanimous as Lucas and give him a shirt? Don't you understand that giving someone a rose leaves a lingering fragrance on your hand?" The look she gave me carried a chill that kept people at arm's length. On such an important day, do you have to make such a scene and embarrass everyone? She looked at the policeman. "It's a misunderstanding. Thank you for making the trip. You can go back." The lead officer glanced at her. "Are you the complainant? If not, please step aside." She was an illegitimate daughter, a debt of affection accidentally left behind when the current head of the Taylor family, David Taylor, cheated around. After David Taylor's lawful wife died, he promptly brought back Sophia and her child to the household. This was not much of a secret locally. In my previous life, I was infatuated with Sophia, rushing to pursue her and obeying her in everything, whatever she asked to try to give, and in the end she killed me, leaving not even a whole, severed head. But I'm no longer that brainlessly love-struck fool with only her on my mind. My gaze fell on David Taylor, who was hiding behind the crowd, and his current wife. "Mr. David Taylor, we're only engaged, and your Taylors treat me like this? Sophia spoke to me like that, because of a man. Do you still think there's any need to go through with this marriage?" The Taylor status was far below the Johnsons. Sophia, and that other woman's ability to hold their current position in the Taylor family, was directly related to my engagement. When David Taylor heard me call his name publicly, he had to step forward awkwardly and shot Sophia a fierce glare. "Apologize." Sophia turned her head. "I'm not wrong. Why should I apologize?" Sophia's mother came over and discreetly pinched her. She still didn't react. My father stepped forward, eyes full of disdain. "Who do you think the Taylors are? If it weren't for my son taking a liking to you, would you even be qualified to stand here today?" My mother pointed at Lucas. "Officer, we must get to the bottom of this today. Please take him in for questioning." Olivia, who had been silent the whole time, suddenly spoke up. "Dad, shut up. Look at how worthless you are." My father gave her a cold look, like a penguin begging for food at the zoo. "You've completely ruined my face." Olivia could only watch helplessly as the police took Lucas away. The home surveillance clearly showed Lucas walking into my walk-in closet, picking up my suit and walking out with it. When he appeared on camera again, he was already wearing the suit and had a pair of scissors in his hand. He opened the wardrobe where I keep my suits and, scissors in hand, proceeded to cut them one by one. The garage footage also showed him climbing into my sports car and driving it away. The evidence was conclusive. Lucas had no room to deny it. At the police station, Lucas realized he was in serious trouble and had to lower his head and apologize to me. "Ethan, I know I went a bit too far, but I was just trying to play a joke on you. I didn't mean anything by it. Won't you forgive me?" I took out my phone, tapped it a few times, and handed it to him, including everything. It's a total of $530,000. If you can compensate me for my losses, I'll sign a settlement agreement. What do you think? If you're wrong, you have to admit it, and if you're going to be punished, you should stand still. Surely you understand that? $530,000 isn't a small sum. His mother only makes $7,000 a month working as a nanny in my house. There's no way he could come up with that kind of money. Because of what happened today, David Taylor locks Sophia in the house and won't let her go out, so he can't possibly count on her to come to the rescue. And given Sophia's status as an illegitimate child, she wouldn't be able to scrape together that much anyway. The high society circles look down on a motherless nobody like her. Although she was taken back into the Taylor household, David Taylor keeps strict control over her, and naturally no one would lend her money. Except me. Too bad I'd just been reborn. I was no longer the lovesick fool who would obey her every whim. But I hadn't expected Lucas to actually scrape together the money. A text notified me that $530,000 had been deposited, and I immediately signed the settlement agreement with relish. I'm the sort who keeps my word, but I didn't regret it until after I signed and walked out of the police station. I wondered how Lucas could have raised so much so quickly, and it turned out my dear sister Olivia had wired him the money. Lucas just croaked Olivia into the phone with his smoker's voice, and that lovesick girl eagerly transferred the funds into his bank account. Seeing Olivia cuddled up with Lucas made steam come out of my ears. What's the difference between that and shuffling our own money from one pocket to another? What's worse, she brazenly brought Lucas back to her house. I got up in the morning, opened my bedroom door, and heard Lucas and Olivia talking downstairs. When I went down, I saw Olivia clinging to Lucas like a suction cup fish in the dining room. When they saw me, both of them wore the same hostile expression, as if I had sent Lucas to the police and was beyond redemption. A lavish breakfast was laid out in front of the two of them, while my place looked like a landscape after a locust swarm. It wasn't even a cup of plain water. Linda, Wuma, in the kitchen, seeing me come down, pretended not to notice and gave me a look from the back of her head, continuing to clean the kitchen as if nothing had happened. This was her standing up for her son, try to teach me a lesson. I cleared my throat twice, but she still ignored me. I called Wang Shu, useless at making even breakfast, might as well be replaced. Uncle Wang nodded. All right, young Master Ethan, I'll arrange it right away. Lucas couldn't sit still now. Ethan, on what grounds are you firing my mom, Linda? Because it's been almost 10 minutes since I went downstairs and I haven't even seen a single glass of water. The Johnsons aren't a charity organization, and I don't have that much goodwill. I don't want to support a useless person. Olivia slammed the table. Are you handless? Can't you pour your own water? I gave her a sidelong glance. Olivia, don't force me to scold you this early. She's a nanny. She should work. Otherwise, why did the family hire her? To be decoration? But you're still my real sister, and you so unconditionally side with an outsider and criticize your own brother. Are you out of your mind? Linda stood behind Olivia, her face showing not the slightest panic. Young Master Ethan, I was hired by Mr. and Mrs. I don't earn your money. Even if they want to fire me, Mr. and Mrs. must speak up. I don't think you have that authority. I've been with the Johnsons for over 10 years. Even if I haven't done anything brilliant, I've put in hard work. I've always treated you like my own son. Master Ethan, speaking to an elder like that, isn't that very rude? If Linda thinks my son is ill-mannered, then she should go find a well-bred family to work for as a nanny. Mother stood on the second floor, looking down at her. I've been watching from upstairs for a while. If you don't want to work for our Johnson family, then why don't you just resign? Linda wasn't arrogant this time and hurriedly explained, Madam, that's not what I meant. I was only worried about Master Ethan, afraid he'd suffer outside. Exactly, Linda wasn't wrong. It was Ethan who was being unbearably petty. He was at fault from the start. Olivia didn't notice the displeasure in her mother's eyes at all and kept making excuses for her. He always picks on Lucas. If Lucas weren't so magnanimous, I would have. Olivia! Mom cut her off from her rambling. Go back to your room. Don't come out for the rest of your life unless I say so. Seeing Mom get angry, she didn't dare act rashly. She glared at me resentfully, stood up, and returned to her room. As she passed by me, she said softly, Ethan, just you wait. Linda wasn't fired after all. I pleaded with Mom to keep her, saying I'd watch her performance going forward. Telling Uncle Wong we'd replace the nanny was only to frighten her a little. Those mother and son really caused me a lot of trouble, so how could I let her go so easily? Linda kowtowed and thanked me profusely, but when she raised her head, the resentment in her eyes wasn't well concealed. That's exactly what I wanted, her indignation. It's more fun to torment her that way. The next day, Sophia came calling. Ethan, I misjudged you. I never expected you to be so domineering. Lucas only wore your clothes for a bit. And you want to drive his mother Linda out? What on earth are you thinking? If you don't apologize to Aunt Linda and Lucas for this, I absolutely will not marry you. Her words made my heart leap with joy. That's perfect. Hurry home and tell your father, Mr. David Taylor, and your mother that we're calling off the engagement. I'll make things clear with my parents as well. Let's call it quits and be done with each other. From now on, neither of us owes the other anything. You go your sunny path. I'll cross my own single plank bridge. How about that? If this were before, had Sophia said something like that, I would have immediately run to Lucas to apologize and beg his forgiveness. But I'm not who I used to be. Now, not only do I not want to listen to her, I want her to go to hell. She didn't react at first when I said that. What do you mean by that? Then she realized, Ethan, I'm telling you, don't try that play hard to get trick with me. Hurry up and go apologize properly, or I'll really get angry. I crossed my arms and leaned against the doorframe. Give birth and I want to see what you look like when you're angry. Ethan, don't push my limits. Are you going to give birth or not? If you won't, I'm closing the door. She pointed at me. Ethan, I've really given you face. Do you believe I looked at her finger almost poking my nose and couldn't help myself. I slapped her hand. Sophia's hand was knocked away, smashing hard against the doorframe. It hurt so much she clutched her hand and nearly cried. Ethan, how dare you? She was in the middle of her harsh words when I grabbed the watering hose beside me and doused her with the icy tap water. She was soaked like a drowned rat, and I held the hose and sprayed her as she ran frantically around the yard. Who the hell do you think you're fucking with? Break off the engagement? Fine, go ahead and do it. If you don't, then you're not even human. Were you so proud of illegitimate daughter? If it weren't for me standing here, you wouldn't even be able to set foot in the Taylor house. I just doused you. What are you going to do about it? If you got the nerve, call the police. At worst, I'll pay for your clothes. Challenge your bottom line? Today, I'm not just challenging it. I'm going to stomp that line to pieces. Sophia was wearing a light silk cheapao today, soaked by the water. Every curve of her body was exposed, her underwear faintly visible. She looked as miserable as could be. I sneered at her for a long while until I calmed down, then tossed aside the hose in my hand. Go do whatever you need to do. If you dare say that useless crap to me again, I'll strip you and throw you out on the street. Sophia was soaking wet all over. She shot me a hateful glance, and when she saw me pick up the hose again, she clutched her chest and ran off. Uncle Wong stood in the doorway and reached out to take the hose from my hand. If she really breaks off the engagement, Master Ethan, would you be willing to let her go? I raised an eyebrow. What's there to be unwilling about? A dog that can't be tamed, kill it, and it's done. If she really dares to break off the engagement with me, then I would truly have to look at her with new eyes. But the question is, would she really be willing to break off the engagement with me? Sophia ultimately didn't have the courage to ask me to break the engagement. She simply endured that soaking. She lied that she had fallen into the river, which covered up the fact that I had gotten her wet. She wouldn't have the energy to prance around in front of me for a while. So I turned my attention to Lucas and his nanny mother. Linda, When it comes to making life difficult for people, Uncle Wong is absolutely the worm in my belly. The two of us coordinate almost seamlessly. Linda, I want to eat rice cake tomorrow. Go buy some glutinous rice and pound it yourself later. It must be chewy and not sticky to the teeth. Linda, I want fishball thick noodles. I love Christian carp. When you buy the fish, make sure to remove all the bones and then grind it into a paste. Don't let me get poked. Linda, tonight I want dumplings. The filling from machine tastes bad. Buy 10 gene of lean pork, cut it finely, and make a stir-fry filling. Make sure there isn't a speck of fat on top. Linda, vegetable oil doesn't make food fragrant. Go buy 10 gene of pork fat to render into oil, and cut it finely to make a stir-fry filling. Don't let there be a speck of lean meat on top. My demands grew more and more outrageous. Seeing that her workload had jumped 1,800% from the previous days and 2,300% year-on-year, Linda, exhausted and unrecognizable, finally snapped. You didn't come here just to tease me, did you? I sat on the sofa, my face a mixture of 3 parts disdain, 3 parts truculence, and 4 parts shameless. I especially want to amuse myself at your expense. Uncle Wong appeared behind me at just the right moment, like a genteel gentleman. If you're willing to do it, do it. If you're not, get lost. There's plenty of people who will do this job. Linda obediently shut up. But for the mother and son, that was still only an appetizer. I racked my brains to make things difficult for Linda, while I began directing Lucas to do all kinds of housework. Lucas was raised in my family since childhood. My parents thought of him as a playmate for me, so they never had him do any work. But a scene at the engagement banquet made my parents realize that after all these years they hadn't just raised an ungrateful wretch. This ungrateful wretch had even bared sharp fangs at their son, so they naturally felt not a shred of goodwill toward him. Thus Lucas's nightmare began. Uncle Wong not only thoughtfully kicked him out of the spare bedroom next to mine, he considerately had him move into the storage room downstairs. I went so far as to treat him like the household servant, bossing him around and ordering him to do this and that. Lucas, fix the table. Can't you see the garden needs loosening? What are you standing there for? Make me 20,000 paper cranes. I'm going to donate them to the earthquake zone abroad. I'm currently negotiating with Mongolia to buy an aircraft carrier. Hurry and clean out the courtyard pool so I can get a training. Lucas finally couldn't hold back and threw the mop he'd been using to scrub the fish pond in front of me. I just realized you're making up lies. I glanced at the pool he'd been cleaning for 2 days. How did you see through me? A trace of pride flashed across Lucas's face. Mongolia doesn't have a sea at all. Where would an aircraft carrier come from? Ethan, on what basis are you ordering me around? I'm not your family's servant. I nodded. You're right, you're not. But your mother, Linda, is. Don't think that having a couple of lousy coins lets you climb on other people's heads and shit. Your money is not your right to bully us poor folks. What have you got to be so arrogant about? Lucas, I hired your mom, Linda, to be a nanny, not to bring some fatherless brat into my house to freeload and eat my food. Don't want to work? Fine. I didn't force you to sign a contract of servitude. If you don't want to work, you can get out right now. Ethan, I'll say it again. I am not a servant of your family. Uncle Wong appeared again at the right moment. Lucas, the Johnsons are under no obligation to provide you with room and board. So if you can't exchange work for it, I'm afraid I'll have to notify you to move out at another time. But I'm a member of the housekeeper Linda's family. Sorry, I don't like housekeepers bringing family to live in my home. I leaned back on the sofa and gave him a glare. Either scrub the pool dry by tomorrow, or get the hell out. Olivia, who was having so much fun outside, she forgot to come home, finally returned. Seeing her face full of trouble, I knew for sure Lucas had secretly hidden in the pool and called the tattle on her. She kicked my door open. Ethan, who told you, Dad, what are you doing here? Dad was holding a thick stack of photos. When he saw her come in, he threw the photos in her face. How did I give birth to such a spendthrift? He slapped Olivia across the face with a huge backhand. Look at what you've done. Olivia picked up the photo with a bewildered face, glanced at it once, then glared at me with hatred. You were the one who told Dad. Ethan, this isn't over between us. The photo showed her and Lucas gambling together, in an underground casino. In the previous life, Lucas had dragged her to underground gambling. She picked up a severe gambling addiction and was eventually persuaded by Lucas to open an underground casino herself, which led to her being arrested and sent to prison. So in this life, I had hired a private detective early on and obtained the crucial evidence. Dad trembled with rage, swung his arm and slapped her hard. I told you not to go astray. If it weren't for your brother discovering it in time, you'd have gotten into trouble sooner or later, and you still dare to blame him. I handed the newly bought telescopic baton to Dad. He took it, snapped it open with a clack, and said, "I'll break your hand. Let's see if you still dare gamble." Olivia fled in terror, tumbling and scrambling away. I sneered subtly. With only that little courage, she still dared to run a gambling den. I had thought she was braver. Although the heroine was gone, the show had already started, and it still had to go on. Uncle Wong stood at my door and knocked. I gently patted my father's back to help him breathe, then looked up and asked, "Uncle Wong, is something the matter?" "Sir, the pair of sapphire earrings the madam reported missing a few days ago have been found." "Good that they're found." I asked casually, "Where were they found?" "In Linda's room." I also found the madam's previously lost emerald ring and an icy jade bracelet. In my past life, it was this woman who suggested to her son Lucas that he team up with Sophia to throw me into the sea. After putting up with her for so long and getting my revenge, I could finally finish things. When the police arrived, Linda wailed and cried uncontrollably, fainting several times. I went with my mother to the station to make statement. Because the stolen goods were of such high value, Linda this time would probably rot in jail. When Lucas arrived at the station, he saw Linda already in handcuffs. The mother's and son's tearful farewell was so overwrought it made me need to pee. I awkwardly ran to the bathroom twice. That acting was remarkably diuretic. When I came out of the bathroom, Lucas' feral expression was fully exposed, his eyes looking at me like a man-eating bear. "Ethan, this isn't over between us. Just you wait. Your sister Olivia and your wife Sophia are both on my side. What kind of big splash do you think the loach in this muddy ditch can still make? Just you wait and see. I'll make you regret it sooner or later." Lucas's words woke me up. Although Sophia and Olivia were severely hurt by me, they weren't beyond recovery. My current situation was still far from optimistic. So I bought a large bouquet of roses and went to see Sophia. "Sofa, I'm sorry. I went too far before. I can't live without you. I care about you too much, which is why I was so hard on Lucas. I know I was wrong. Please, will you forgive me?" Lucas won't forgive me now, and I don't dare expect his forgiveness. I'm a sinner. I must spend the rest of my life atoning for my crimes. I knelt before Sophia, holding the flowers, unbearably earnest, but Sophia remained unmoved, until I pulled a bank card from my pocket. "It's okay if you don't forgive me. This card has $6 million US. It's all my spending money. I'll give it all to you. I owe Lucas an apology. You buy him something for me to make up for it. Consider me repaying a bit of what I owe him." Sophia snorted coldly and snatched the card from my hand. "Since you're being so sensible, I'll let you off this time." I licked my lips again, then pulled a bunch of keys from my pocket. "This is the key to where Lucas is living now." "Sophia, I wronged him. He probably feels nauseous just seeing me. Go check on him for me." Sophia's eyes lit up. "Is everything you said true?" I nodded vigorously. "Truer than real gold. As long as my darling can forgive me, I'll do whatever you ask." This sent Sophia into fits of joy. She reached out and helped me up. "Ethan, don't worry. I promise the first child from now on will definitely be yours." I forced down my revulsion and hugged her. "I know I have many faults. As long as you don't despise me, don't abandon me, I'll do anything for you." I put on a tough guy tearful act. "Sophia, I can't live without you." Sophia absent-mindedly hugged me. I understand. You understand my ass. Since Linda's accident, Lucas hasn't dared to return to the Johnson family villa. Never mind his personal belongings, he hasn't even bothered with a half-cleaned swimming pool. The aircraft carrier training had to be put on hold for the time being. Sophia grabbed the bank card and keys and hurried off to rekindle things with Lucas. She didn't know that Lucas had already been taken by Olivia to live in her house. That house had now entirely become their Eden. In Eden, Adam and Eve never wore any clothes. Sophia had barely left when a servant from the house called Olivia. "Miss Olivia, something's wrong. Young Master Ethan took a few thugs out. I overheard him saying they were heading to that house you bought over by Gidge's tomb, and he said he was going to teach someone a lesson. You should hurry back and take a look." Sure enough, less than a minute later my phone rang. The caller ID showed the world's biggest fool. I pressed answer, and Olivia's angry voice rang out. "Ethan, if you so much as lay a finger on Lucas, I won't let you off." "Now let me off? I'm your real brother. What can you do to me?" I snorted coldly. "Olivia, I'm heading to the place where you hid that wild man. I'm going to make Lucas regret being born into this world. If I don't beat him until his face looks like a peach blossom, then I might as well change my surname to Johnson." Olivia's voice twisted. "Ethan, if you have something against me, take it out on me. Don't touch him." I issued orders to the non-existent henchman beside me. "Go upstairs. Finish that bastard for me." With that said, I hung up the phone. Olivia and Sophia started fighting. The two of them were tearing at each other fiercely. I had activated a signal jammer outside Olivia's house beforehand, so she couldn't reach Lucas and had to hurry back by car. She raced up the stairs intending to play the heroine saving the day. But the moment she opened the door, she heard Sophia and Lucas's stormy, decadent sounds. "How is it, baby? I'm more comfortable than that dry girl from the Johnsons, right? You're way sluttier than she is." The mass media, like flies drawn to sweetness, set up their long lenses and tripods outside Olivia's villa. The Jinsalhunal moment between Olivia and Sophia was faithfully and completely captured by the cameras in the hands of our media friends. Lucas stood not far away, like a startled little bride. "Oh, come on, stop fighting. I love you all, okay?" My face full of hatred, enduring immense pain, and forcing my body into the car. This scene did not escape the media's eyes either. Now everyone knew that Taylor's family's illegitimate daughter was not only cheating behind her fiancé's back, but had also been publicly entangled with her future sister-in-law. I sat in the car, watching the three people behind me being surrounded by reporters, and smoothed my hair with my hand. Uncle Wong's gaze fell on my face through the rearview mirror. Young Master Ethan really has acting skills. I raised an eyebrow proudly. Of course. Sophia has now completely offended the Johnsons, and Olivia has threatened to bring down the Taylor family. With nowhere left to turn, Sophia came to beg me. "Ethan, you have to save me. If Olivia keeps this up, my father, Mr. David Taylor, will really throw me out. Mr. David Taylor has always been cold and unfeeling. For the sake of the family inheritance, he'd grit his teeth and even send his own mother away, let alone his insignificant, illegitimate daughter." I trembled with fury, pointing at her and grinding my teeth. "I asked you to take care of him. Is this how you take care of him? Did I ask you to cuckold me? After everything that's happened, you still have the nerve to beg me? Don't you know you've made me the laughingstock of the entire social circle because of your mess? Now everyone's gossiping about your little scandal, saying Ethan's fiancée looks down on our Johnson family, saying I'm eager to be cuckolded, saying I'm a pimp who runs girls for men. You're an illegitimate daughter. If you hadn't been engaged to me, neither you nor your worn-out mother would even be allowed through the Taylor family's gate. How dare you treat me like this? All my loyalty to you was for nothing." Sophia, frantic and incoherent. "Ethan, you have to believe me. It was Lucas who forced me. I'm a victim too." "Pa, you still have the nerve to call yourself a victim? The way you screamed that day was so lewd. Do you take me for a fool? He drugged me. I couldn't control myself. I had no choice. Don't make up stories. Even you probably don't believe that." I glared at her hatefully. "If he forced you, then go clear it up online, go to the police and report that he broke in and raped you. Get him put in jail." I spat a mouthful of phlegm onto her face. "Ugh. Teasket? Sophia, even now you're still lying to me. You really make me sick. Let's break up." Someone secretly filmed the video of Sophia begging me for forgiveness only to have me spit at her and posted it online. The Taylor family's illegitimate daughter, already at the center of the storm, became an even greater focus as the expected online abuse surged toward her from all directions. An illegitimate daughter can be so promiscuous. The circles of the wealthy are even dirtier than the entertainment industry. Eating from the bowl while eyeing the pot. Truly the world's #1 scumbag woman. Even Pangelian would have to call you senior. Her own mother was a mistress. She learned it well. Truly a family tradition. That Lucas isn't any good either, two-timing both sides, just selling his ass. Faced with all-pervasive online harassment, the Taylor family suddenly became the target of everyone's ire, pointed at by thousands. Rumors like the mistress climbed up and the scummy woman betrayed him shook the Taylors, leaving them unstable and tossed about. At the same time, I brought in a large number of media and publicly announced the breakup of the engagement. In view of Ms. Sophia's recent actions, I, Ethan, hereby unilaterally dissolve the engagement with Ms. Sophia. From now on, Ms. Sophia and I have nothing to do with each other. I hereby wish Ms. Sophia and Mr. Lucas that true lovers may finally become a married couple, a harmonious union for 100 years. May you soon have noble offspring, grow old together, continue to strive, and achieve even greater glory. I read the statement with a face full of sorrow, ignored the reporters trying to stop me, and quickly left the scene. I couldn't stay. If I didn't leave, I was going to start laughing. Back home, Olivia was the first to stop. Ethan, what did you mean by that? What do you mean wishing them a blissful union? If the two of them are perfectly matched, then what about me? I looked at this foolish doe in shock. Olivia, are you crazy? Are there no other men in the world? Lucas already slept with Sophia, and it was in your bed. Are you still going for trash like that? Are you sick? Olivia panicked. Don't you dare talk about Lucas like that. He's the best man in the world. I just like him. Dad couldn't help it and slapped her hard across the face. Has he put a curse on you? Is there no one else in your mind besides him? Mom looked at her in disappointment, set her up on a blind date, get her married off early, and she'll quiet down. Sophia and her mother, after being rejected, were kicked out of the Taylor household. She wasn't the only illegitimate daughter in the Taylor family. For Mr. David Taylor, things would be the same whether she was there or not. After all, Mr. David Taylor had a reputation, and having a few illegitimate daughters wasn't surprising. When Lucas learned that Sophia had fallen from favor, he decisively severed ties with her and immediately blocked all of Sophia's contact methods. Having lost a powerful supporter, Lucas turned back to Olivia. The two rotten fish had come together again. This time Olivia was smarter and didn't dare settle Lucas in her country house again. Instead, she took him to a hotel and booked a room with him. So I considerately had someone call the police, reporting illegal prostitution activities at the hotel. When the two of them were taken away by the police, they were nearly nude, and the incident successfully trended on social media. Although the two were released after questioning at the police station, the matter was still blown up and spread everywhere. The match that had been arranged for Olivia was a young master notorious for being a failure in the wealthy circle. When he learned Olivia had been arrested for booking a hotel room with someone, he came to our house and made a huge scene, even having people drive a bulldozer into our yard and fill in our swimming pool. The incident was quite humiliating for the family, but there was nothing much to be done. After all, Olivia was at fault. In the end, my parents, having run out of patience, decided that rather than let her make trouble in the country, it was better to send her abroad to lose face where no one knew her. So Olivia was bound and sent onto our private plane. Before takeoff, I quietly increased the captain's pay, and the captain obligingly changed the destination to Siberia. After Olivia went abroad, the ruined Sophia turned up at my door again. She wore a faded dress, looked very down and out, and was clearly struggling. After all, the bank card I had given her before had been frozen by me that very day. Ethan, the place you hold in my heart has always been irreplaceable. I don't care at all about Lucas or anyone like that. In my heart, you will always be first. How about we start over? I looked at her coldly. No, I won't. Sophia's mouth twitched, tears welling up. Then what do you want me to do to make you forgive me? Sophia, you touch lips with me and give no sign at all. trying to swindle me empty-handed. How am I supposed to believe you've truly turned back? How am I supposed to believe you're a repentant lamb? A strange light flashed in Sophia's eyes. She looked at me with burning intensity, as if she'd made some huge decision. Ethan, don't worry. I'll make you see my true feelings. Sophia was taken away by the police. I was the one who called them. That day she said she would show some sign, which made me suspicious, so I had someone follow her secretly. Sophia rented a yacht and lured Lucas out. By the time the yacht returned to shore, only Sophia remained on board. She threw Lucas into the sea, leaving no trace of life or body. Faced with ironclad evidence, Sophia had no way to deny it and could only bow her head and admit to the murder. For intentional homicide, Sophia was sentenced to death with reprieve. By the time I heard from her again, she had gone mad and had been transferred to a psychiatric hospital for treatment. I went to the psychiatric hospital to see her. She was wearing a straitjacket, had just finished electrotherapy, trembled all over, drooling at the corners of her mouth, yet still shouted and screamed. I am the Johnson family's officially appointed daughter-in-law. Second to none. You all must obey me. A caregiver pried, open her mouth. Madam, it's time to take your medicine. The doctor smiled and explained to me, patients like this definitely need another round of electroshock. I nodded, turned away satisfied, and left. Sitting in the car, Uncle Wong glanced at me through the rearview mirror. Young Master Ethan, where are we heading next? I leaned back in the seat and stretched comfortably. Back to the company. There's a board meeting this afternoon. All right, young Master Ethan.